All right, we're about to dive into one of the most dramatic, most pivotal moments in all of history. It's a story about a choice between two men that, well, it would literally change the world forever. So let's jump right into the middle of the action. Picture this: you're in Jerusalem. The air is thick with tension. The Roman governor, a guy named Pontius Pilate, is standing before this massive, restless crowd. And he offers them a choice. It's a tradition, see, a pardon for the Passover festival. But believe me, this choice is anything but simple. Now, to really understand the sheer weight of this moment, we've got to talk about the man who walks free. So, who exactly was this prisoner, Barabbas? Okay, the very first clue is right there in his name. In Aramaic, Bar Abba literally means son of the father. Now, that might seem like a small detail, but I want you to tuck that away because it is about to become incredibly important. When you look at our source material, the four Gospels, they all paint this remarkably consistent picture of the guy. Barabbas wasn't some petty thief. No, no. He's called a notorious prisoner, an insurrectionist, a revolutionary, and a murderer. By every single standard of Roman law, this was a man who absolutely 100% deserved his death sentence. But this is where the story takes a fascinating, unexpected turn. You see, the choice the crowd was facing wasn't quite as simple as Barabbas versus Jesus. Why? Because some of the oldest manuscripts we have contain a really shocking detail. Yeah, you heard that right. The choice might not have been between a man named Barabbas and a man named Jesus. It was very possibly a choice between two men named Jesus, Jesus Barabbas and Jesus, the one they called the Christ. And this just lays out the staggering scale of the decision they had to make. Pilate was basically asking, which Jesus do you want me to release? Do you want Jesus, son of the Father, the violent rebel? Or do you want Jesus, the Christ, the true son of the Heavenly Father, the rebel or the righteous one? And the crowd, they roar their decision. They choose Barabbas. And in that one moment, one of the most profound, mind-bending reversals in all of history takes place, a concept our source material calls the Great Exchange. So Jesus Barabbas, the murderer, the man who was just moments away from death, hears his own name called. The chains fall off, and he walks out of that prison, probably blinking in the sunlight, a free man against all possible odds. And then there's Jesus the Christ, the man the governor himself had just declared innocent, saying he'd found no fault in him. He's the one who's handed over to the soldiers, to be whipped, to be mocked, and to be led away to die. And that's the crucial point here. Our source frames this using the Korean term jaribakum, which means switching places or substitution. This wasn't some lucky accident for Barabbas. No, this was a deliberate, total exchange. The guilty takes the place of the innocent, and the innocent stands in for the guilty. But just how literal was this substitution? I mean, was it just a legal swap? Well, the source material pushes us to think about the final, brutal destination of this whole exchange, the execution hill they called Golgotha. Now think about this for a second. The accounts say Jesus was crucified between two other men. And what were their crimes? They were rebels, robbers. Sound familiar? Just like Barabbas. So the source speculates that it's completely plausible these two guys were Barabbas' accomplices, part of his crew, and that all three of them were scheduled to be executed together on that very day. And this line of thinking leads to a truly staggering question. If three crosses were prepared that day for three rebels, and one of those rebels, Barabbas, was suddenly set free, whose cross did Jesus die on? It's possible he didn't just take Barabbas' legal condemnation. He may have literally, physically taken his place on a cross built specifically for him. So, why does this ancient story still have such incredible power over us today? Because, as our source makes really clear, this whole great exchange, it wasn't just about some guy named Barabbas 2,000 years ago. In this incredible narrative, Barabbas becomes a stand-in. He's a symbol for all of us, guilty, flawed, deserving of judgment, and yet offered an impossible, unearned freedom because someone else, someone perfect, took our place. And that, right there, is the theological heart of this entire explainer. The freedom we're talking about isn't something you can earn with good deeds. Our source is emphatic about this. It is a gift of total grace. It was made possible because the innocent one was substituted for the guilty on that cross. We have no merit in it. And so the source leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. If we can see ourselves in Barabbas, as the one who was set free by this profound exchange, then what's our response? If he took our place in death, what does it mean for us to now take his place in life?